Radioactive Wasps in South Carolina, a baby from 1994 has been born, and the second space race has begun. In today's video, we're going to be reacting to some of the more strange and bizarre clips that I could find on TikTok. Let's get into it.
This is the oldest baby on Earth, and yeah, it just came back to life. In 1994, a baby was frozen as an embryo from a woman who was a donor. And they had kept this baby, well, the embryo of it, frozen until now. Only 3 or 4 days ago, this baby was born to its parents, who are both 33 and 34, meaning that this baby is technically 1 year younger than its actual parents. Now, the woman whose actual baby it is obviously didn't actually physically give birth to this baby a while ago, but it is expected she's going to meet this baby at some point, and she also has another child who's 30 as well, so this little baby has a sibling and they're technically the same age. But of course, the baby has been adopted by the parents who are right there. It is genuinely crazy that they were actually able to do this in the technology that we have nowadays. I mean, this baby was technically alive probably before most of you watching this video right now, which is just insane. I'm sure there's going to be some more news coming out on the Wonder Baby, so make sure that follow button, and as always, I'll keep you updated.
I know this sounds weird, but it really makes me wonder. What if there's people that were pregnant way back in the Ice Age that are frozen solid that we'll find one day and they'll bring them back, or at least the embryos? That would be crazy, but I could see something like that happening if this is a possibility. Let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments.
Y'all, this video is freaking crazy. Honestly, it has to be one of the best that I've ever seen of what potentially could be a ghost on a security camera. But here's the thing, this is like a full body, like an adult type apparition. It's almost like giving the vibe of Predator. You know, when they cloak themselves with their technology and you can see that outline, that shimmer. This looked just like that. And it was captured by a woman named Gabriella, specifically her mother-in-law's security camera, when this thing appears to come from the ceiling down and literally walk right in front of it. I don't know, guys. Take a look at this video, comment below, tell me what you think.
Normally on these I can rule them out fairly easily. This one I have a hard time with because it's not very clear. It could be just a strand of dust that's just floating in front of the camera, or an insect, or possibly a ghost. Let me know what you guys think it is in the comments. I'm personally leaning towards it was a strand of dust that was just floating off screen.
We have these two planet-sized objects that seem to appear to fly into the sun, triggering some form of coronal mass ejection. It's kind of weird to kind of say that sentence in itself, right? Now, for those of you that know this channel, we know that we have reviewed a lot of stuff from the Soho craft, and we do see a lot of weird stuff happening in and around the sun itself. And it goes back to that age-old theory, is the sun a potential Stargate, right? Rather than it just being this big ball of fire in the sky, could this be some sort of plasma connection to do with the rest of the cosmos, a plasma map if you will, where objects seem to come and go? And look at the size of these things that look like they enter. Not too long ago I shared a video on this channel of a strange triangular weird object that seemed to be floating around the sun, which again was apparently estimated to be around like a moon or a planet size. I don't know, never was explained. Still weird to this day, and again we get all sorts of weird stuff happening on the Soho spacecraft itself. So I don't know, mate, these things are like manta rays or something, mate. I don't know, and then just go in, crash, and then coronal mass ejection. Kind of weird.
I really wish that I knew what I was looking at here, because to me it looks like birds flying. And if that footage was caught in space and that was actually the sun, then what were those things that looked like they were flying? Pretty interesting. Hey, if you haven't done so already and you're enjoying the show, give it a like. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. I upload a video like this every Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. and I want to thank you guys so much for supporting the channel.
A zoo in Denmark is asking the public for unwanted pets to feed their predators. Yeah, the Aalborg Zoo said that they have a responsibility to imitate the natural food chain of their animals, so if anyone has any pet chickens, rabbits, guinea pigs, or even small horses, they can donate them to the zoo where they will be gently euthanized by trained staff and then afterwards be used as fodder. That way, nothing goes to waste and we ensure the natural behavior, nutrition, and well-being of our predators. But despite this initiative being in place for years and being commonplace in Denmark, their Facebook post got so much international attention that they have now had to turn off their comments and ask people to stop the hateful and malicious rhetoric. The question is, what do you think? Is there any reason to disagree with this? Or is it a perfectly natural process?
Well, if you have to send your animals in to get euthanized so that they can be fed to these animals in the zoo, doesn't seem like a very natural process to me. I am personally really not a big fan of zoos in the first place. And as far as this, why does it have to be a healthy living animal? Why could it just not be an animal that recently passed of natural causes? They can send it to the zoo, they'll study the animal, and then they can feed it to the other animals. That would be a little bit more beneficial. I don't think that I would want to send my little pony that's perfectly fine and living to go get eaten by a crocodile.
We are becoming a Marvel comic. We have radioactive wasps, possibly radioactive spiders. According to the Department of Energy, they have, this is not even in Russia. This is in the United States. You'd think it'd be in Chernobyl, the place that had their meltdown in 1986. No, it's in America, in South Carolina, at the Savannah River test site. Now, Savannah River was formerly a nuclear test site, which is why the Department of Energy is part of it. Now, the Department of Energy says that these wasps and these webs and their homes, the nests, have 10 times the amount of radioactive signature that they're supposed to have. So that should be fun. So I don't think I'm going to South Carolina anytime soon. Maybe I'll just stay inside this summer. It's already hot and humid as it is. But what do you think? Do you think that this is like a sign of the apocalypse, or just another sign that we're turning into a comic book movie right before our very eyes? Oh, and which comic book character would you like to be? Wasp Man, Ant-Man, or Spider-Man?
I have been hearing about this on TikTok for a few days now. I looked it up and it is true. They did have wasps in one of the nests, which they terminated as radioactive waste. And they say that it's minimal risk to the community. If anyone wants to know, this is in Aiken, South Carolina, so hey, be careful out there.
Did you know there's a line across America where reality starts to break down? They call it the 37th parallel, and it might just be the strangest stretch of land in the US. Running from Santa Cruz, California all the way to the Chesapeake Bay, this latitude, 37 degrees north, has been dubbed America's Paranormal Highway. Why? Well, it passes through various mysterious military bases, national parks, and clusters of high strangeness, almost like it's a roadmap for the unexplained. Going from east to west, this line runs right through Washington, D.C., and then on over to Appalachia, where we know there's a lot of weird stuff happening. It also cuts through the largest cave network in the world, Mammoth Cave in Kentucky, which there's some weird stuff with caves and things like Missing 411. It also passes through Joplin, Missouri, home of the infamous Hornet Spooklight, and the Ozarks in general, a region haunted with cryptid sightings and bizarre encounters over the years, and it's also home to the New Madrid fault line. It also skirts the edge of the Dulce Basin, New Mexico, a super secretive installation that allegedly houses aliens and unspeakable experiments, as well as Taos, New Mexico, home of the Taos Hum. From there, it runs directly through Skinwalker territory in the Four Corners region, and not far from Area 51 itself. Now, what's really interesting about this parallel is the number of major UFO cases and sightings that have happened through history along this line, like the 1941 Cape Girardeau UFO crash that happened in Missouri, or the Roswell crash in 1947, even the Mantell case in 1948, which prompted the launch of Project Blue Book after the captain of the squadron intercepting the UFO that was seen perished trying to pursue it. And even in the 1800s, people were reporting mystery airships well before the Wright brothers ever took flight. And there's also been reported occurrences of missing time, people driving on the highway, seeing strange lights, then snapping back to reality hours and miles from where they were without explanation. And then there's the livestock mutilations. thousands of cases since the late 1800s, all with the same signature. Major organs, eyes, and other body parts removed with surgical-like precision. The bodies drained of blood and no tracks, like they were almost dropped from the sky. So what is the 37th parallel? Well, some people think that it could be a ley line or some kind of dimensional rift. Others think it could be a kind of cosmic highway for UFOs for some reason. Make sure to drop your theories in the comments and let me know what you want to hear about next.
I've never heard of the 37th parallel. Now, I've heard of all those other things happening, I just didn't know it was tied to the 37th parallel. Really interesting.
People are recording 2 moons all over the US. Watch this. Watch this. And that's not even the craziest part. You know, we just had a second earthquake right around New York. You know, things in the sky, these planetary bodies, they change density quite a bit. In just a second, I'll show you some crazier stuff in the sky. You know, the Bible says that there'll be signs in the sun, the moon, the stars, and the stress on the earth and the nations. Crazy parallels. And no, it's obviously not lens flare. In a whole different place, people were watching this lich in the sky. And watch this. It's not double-sided glass because she walks by. Boom. What? Not AI, not CGI, nothing else. That's literally what's in the sky. We've seen this before over the last year. There's a reason they want you looking at your phone screens and so tied up in the news and all this crazy stuff that they have going on. Now, people will say these are sunbeams, so watch this. Watch when the camera pans over. Because at first I was like, yeah, definitely a sun, you know, but then watch this. What's going on here? The absence of light, and now all of a sudden we have all these news sources of all these countries trying to race to put nuclear reactions on the moon. There's something about that, but I just can't put my finger on it. Can you? Are we maybe racing to this moon because maybe we'll find out there's another layer of the onion that's been made just for us because there's going to be something up there already? You know, at times like this, I really wish I could tell you what I need to tell you. Maybe I'll put it on YT. Let me know what you think below.
Man, the 2 moon things is still going on. It seems like once or twice a year people bring this up. Me personally, I do believe it's a reflection in the phone's camera lens. And that one scene where she's zooming in and then it bounces to the other side, more than likely it's because that person's phone had multiple camera lenses on it. And once that person zoomed in, it reached that limit to where it needed to go to the other camera lens. And that's why you've seen that reflection of the moon bounce to the left. I mean, that's my theory. I don't know if that's the scientific fact behind it all, but that's my theory behind it. Let me know your theories. I can't believe people are still saying that there's 2 moons in the sky and using the phone footage like this.
Guys, we have officially entered the world's second space race. Because according to documents obtained by Politico, NASA's acting administrator will soon announce plans for the US to fast-track their launch of a nuclear reactor to the moon. Now, apparently their reason for moving up the timeline is because NASA desperately wants to beat China and Russia, who have actually teamed up to launch their own nuclear reactor on the moon. And the thing is, whoever establishes their reactor first, well, they will have first dibs to declare what's known as a keep-out zone. And that will essentially limit what other countries can do nearby on the lunar surface. But America doesn't like keep-out zones on Earth or in space, unless it's called the southern border. So with the China-Russia project only meant to launch in 2035, USA said, aight, let's run it by 2030. And even a senior NASA official whose identity was kept anonymous was reported saying it is about winning the second space race. Now, you'll be happy to hear this nuclear reactor isn't for starting Universe War 1. In fact, according to NASA themselves on those same documents, it will, quote, lay the groundwork to be able to support a future lunar economy for high-powered energy generation on Mars and to strengthen national security in space. There it is. My bad. Guess I'll catch you on the lunar front lines.
Man, these people in power will do everything that they can but help the people here on Earth. And I mean, maybe this is going to be beneficial to people in the far future, but why not take that power and ambition and try to make the world that we're currently living on a better place, instead of doing things on the moon and trying to race to see who gets there and do it first? That's kind of crazy to me.
Another earthquake, the second since Saturday, just hit New Jersey today. And I made a video about something that might be causing this. A massive hot blob beneath the east coast of the United States, which is basically molten rock or lava, moving around under the east coast like New Jersey, where the earthquake hit today, which is just miles away from where the earthquake hit Saturday. Now I know these aren't major earthquakes, but the East Coast isn't used to getting any earthquakes. And now they're happening just days apart after scientists let it be known that there's a hot blob of molten rock moving underneath the East Coast. Now today's New Jersey earthquake didn't cause any major damage, but it's freaking people out. Rightfully so. They're not used to experiencing this. And now they've been told hot lava is moving beneath them. You don't have to be a genius or a nut job wearing a cheese head to see the signs. Something is going on. You can ignore it, but it looks like it's still gonna happen. Okay, Booshkies, I just wanted to share this with you. Shabadoo!
I mean, at least it wasn't a devastating earthquake. That is something I have yet to experience. I have never been through an earthquake, so I don't even know what that's like. South Carolina doesn't really get them, and if they do, it's such a low magnitude that you don't even feel it. But for the people in New York, New Jersey, let me know if that was your first time ever experiencing an earthquake, and if so, what was that experience like? Alright guys, I'm gonna go ahead and end today's video. As always, I want to thank you guys for watching these clips with me, and with that being said, have a good day.